This section of the camp is made up of over 30 buildings, housing hundreds of SS guards. The barracks are made from brick and include multiple rooms, often equipped with basic furnishings such as beds, tables, and personal storage. The same officers, torturing and murdering prisoners every day, have access to amenities like proper sanitation facilities and heating. 7 p.m. Luca is walking back into his barracks amongst the hundreds of prisoners there. He's using his remaining strength to see if his father is amongst them. Finally, near his bunk, he sees a man hunched over with blood on the floor. It's his dad. He hugs him, but his father is almost too weak to stand. He was assigned to work laying railway tracks, and during the day someone tried to escape. They were shot and killed on the spot. Almost everyone else in the group was beaten badly, including his father. Lukas tells his father to stay put and rushes off to get food. On the northern side of the camp was a row of kitchen barracks. There was 1 or 2 for each section of the different population groups. Inside, prisoners are preparing dinner for the workers. Lukas arrives and manages to find 2 stale pieces of bread. On a small sausage, he quickly hurries back. While his father recovered in his bunk from the corner of his eye, Lukas noticed a small group of prisoners huddled together on the dirt floor. They were playing chess. The pieces were crudely fashioned from wood. The board itself was scratched into the dirt floor, its lines uneven but clear enough to follow. One of the men saw Luco hovering over and invited him to join for a few minutes. They weren't in Auschwitz. They weren't prisoners. They were chess players, strategists, tacticians for the next few months. These were the only moments Lukas looked forward to. The summer of 1944 brought nearly 2 months of hell for Lukas and his father. As the Nazi war machine rapidly crumbled in the east, Soviet forces were advancing, reclaiming nearly 100,000 square kilometers of territory. Time was running out for the Nazis, but it was also running out for Lukas and the thousands of other prisoners still trapped inside. 6 a.m. August 1st, 1944. Since their arrival inside nearly 2 months ago, Luca and his father had faced a brutal life. Little food, no breaks, and constant beatings. Outside, reporting to their work assignment. Lukas realizes his father is barely conscious. Then he hears a thump a few meters away. His father collapsed into the mud and is not moving. Lukas paused for a moment, wondering how he could get him to the prisoner's hospital. Many prisoners suffered from tuberculosis, malaria, meningitis, and dysentery. Lukas's dad is suffering from the same fate. As countless others, exhaustion mixed with starvation. This section of the camp consisted of over a dozen barracks in repulsive conditions. Camp doctors could not help many of their patients. There were also prisoners themselves. Even if he was transported to the hospital, the conditions were so squalid that the chances of survival would be extremely low. At night, rats would chew away at the legs of the sick. Both those alive and dead. An SS guard approaches Lukas's father and screams at him to raise himself up. He musters whatever strength he has to shake his stand. But his fate is sealed. The guard gives one signal, and 2 other guards come to escort him away. He won't be heading to the hospital. Luka's father is placed in a steady moving line, entering the crematorium building, no, 2, on the northwest of the camp, away from the prisoner barracks. These 4 structures are built with deceptive facades to prevent panic about the imminent fate. Inside, the room is bare and windowless, except for one unsettling feature, a series of tall mesh-covered columns that stretch from floor to ceiling. These columns were the delivery system for Zyklon B, the cyanide-based pesticide, used to murder prisoners in horrific numbers once the chamber is sealed. Guards dropped the gas pellets through these columns, releasing lethal fumes, filling the room within minutes. Each gas chamber was connected to an adjacent crematorium, where the bodies were immediately disposed of. At the peak of the Holocaust in 1944, the camp murdered somewhere between 3,000 to 5,000 people each day. On this day, that included Lukas's father. Between 1944 and January 1945, the Soviets got closer and closer to the German homeland. The SS began to abandon various concentration and labor camps it had built throughout the Eastern Front. In January of 1945, the Soviets entered Auschwitz. The troops see a few thousand prisoners, gaunt and starving to them. It's liberation, but for Lukov, it was too little too late. He was 250 miles away, marching through the dead of winter, along with 1,000 others. Lukács had managed to make it so far, but his body can't handle it any longer. He collapses on the side of the road, falling face first into the snow. A guard shouts at him to stand, but Lukács no longer has the strength. The last sound he hears is a rifle being cocked, followed by a shot that echoes through the cold air. Auschwitz operated from May 1940 to January 1945. It expanded from the original barracks at Auschwitz I to include Auschwitz-Birkenau and the slave worker factory of Auschwitz-Marowitz. Lukajan's father may be fictional, but they stand for the countless lives shattered by the Nazi regime and its supporters during their merciless terror across Europe. Of the 1.1 million people transported to Auschwitz, over 900,000 were murdered or worked to death shortly after arrival.